The curse was never an accident. It was an awakening. The tomb was collapsing, the air heavy with the scent of ancient dust, but Lena Halbrook couldn't focus on that. Not anymore. The walls trembled, the ground beneath her feet cracked like thunder, but it was the revelation she had just uncovered that kept her paralyzed with horror. Dr. Anwar Qasim had never been who he claimed to be. The truth came to her in fragments, cryptic words, subtle hints, but now it was clear as day. Qasim was not just a scholar, a watcher of Ra. He was something far darker, something ancient. He was a vessel, an instrument of a long-dead king. The spirit of the heretic king who had once overthrown Tutankhamun, had never left the tomb. Lena's blood ran cold as Qasim stepped forward, his eyes glowing with an unnatural intensity. He was no longer the kind, intellectual archaeologist she had trusted. He was reawakened by the curse. The ancient king's spirit had inhabited Qasim's body, using him to manipulate Lena and the Eye of Ra, all to complete the ritual that would bring him back to life. "I didn't just come to protect history," Qasim said, his voice now rasping, laced with the cold malice of the pharaoh. "I came to reshape it." Lena could barely comprehend what she was hearing. Her eyes darted to the painted walls, the ones that had shown her death, and now she saw the truth in them. The images weren't just visions of her future, they were part of the ritual. Her bloodline, her very existence, had been part of this twisted plan all along. The Eye of Ra hadn't just cursed Tutankhamun, it had cursed the entire bloodline of Egypt, a line that began with I's treacherous coup. "I was the one who caused the boy king's death," Qasim's voice echoed in the tomb. "His reign was a mistake. I should have ruled. I was meant to rule." Lena's stomach churned as the weight of his words settled over her. "I had orchestrated everything, from Tutankhamun's untimely death to the rise of the curse, using the Eye of Ra as a weapon. By sacrificing Lena's bloodline, he could finally complete the ritual and use the Eye's power to reclaim his throne." Lena stumbled back, but her body felt as if it were stuck in place, rooted to the floor by the ancient forces that pulsed around her. The tomb was alive, and I was channeling the Eye's power through his vessel, Qasim. "I need your blood, Lena," Eye's voice whispered through Qasim's mouth. "Only then can the Eye truly awaken." Suddenly, the ground trembled violently, and a low, guttural growl filled the chamber. Anubis' jackal-headed guardians appeared, their figures shifting between shadows and solid form. They moved in unison, walking toward Lena with intent in their eyes. They had been summoned. "The sacrifice must be made," one of the guardians growled. "The tomb shall be reborn. The king will rise." Lena could feel the weight of the curse closing in on her. She was trapped, the final piece of the puzzle. If she died in this tomb, the cycle would complete, and I would be reborn. Not just as a man, but as a god. A living pharaoh who would rewrite Egypt's future. But Lena's thoughts were frantic. The answer, the key to stopping was right in front of her. The paintings, the code, the Eye of Ra. She had one chance, one last moment to change everything. With a burst of energy, Lena leapt toward the ancient golden dagger that had been resting near the tomb's altar, the very weapon that had been used to seal Tutankhamun's fate. The dagger was part of the curse. It was meant to pierce the heart of the true heir to the throne, and by doing so, to sever the bond between the Eye and the physical world. She grabbed it. The moment Lena touched the dagger, the tomb seemed to shudder violently, the walls rattling as if the very stones were in agony. The guardians hesitated, their eyes glowing with the power of Anubis. It was as if time itself had slowed. Qasim, Eye's vessel, smiled. "You can't stop it, Lena. You never could." But Lena had no choice. She drove the dagger into the heart of the Eye of Ra, thrusting it with all her strength, piercing through the heart of the power that had enslaved Egypt for millennia. The world exploded into light. Time itself shattered. For a moment, everything was still. The tomb, the guardians, and the shadows, everything froze in a single heartbeat. But that heartbeat would be the final one. As the light faded, Lena's body crumpled to the ground. She had completed the ritual, broken the curse, and destroyed the eye, but at what cost? The tomb began to collapse, the walls groaning under the weight of centuries. The chamber shook as if the earth itself were trying to swallow it whole. Lena's vision blurred, but through the haze, she saw Ai's body, Qasim's body, fall to the ground, lifeless, the spirit of the heretic king vanishing into nothingness. And then, the world reset.